Now, you had the chance to confront Tando's recruiter.
I did.
What was that experience like?
It was harrowing, because I looked at this woman, and on the one hand, I saw that she was also vulnerable. I thought, okay, what had led her to becoming this ruthless recruiter who would so easily regard somebody else's life as so disposable and dispensable? And, you know, obviously she has her own story to tell, but it was very confrontational. It was, obviously she denied, and she made some very kind of obvious errors in her story, in her narrative, in her explanation as to what Tando was doing there. I took all this evidence because I'd recorded on a hidden camera, did some security checks on her, found out that she was aligned to a Nigerian syndicate, took all of this, presented it to Interpol, to the NPA, and 3-4 years later, there was absolutely no development in the investigation into her. They had her cell phone numbers, her passport numbers, everything. And today she continues to live in the township where she recruited or coerced Tando. And she has been known to recruit other young women or coerce them into becoming drug mules or decoys. But she just carries on. She's notorious in Tabong Township for this.
Well, you're a very brave woman, I think, for getting yourself into some of the situations you did to get this information. But unfortunately, it seems like it hasn't really landed in the right hands.
It hasn't, and I think, and I mean, that's why I also take my hat off to Patricia constantly for having the fortitude and resilience to carry on this crusade, which is so, I think the rewards that Patricia reaps is when she successfully manages to bring somebody home, or somebody listens to the argument that Locked Up in a Foreign Country puts about the relationship between drug smuggling and human trafficking. For me, I've become increasingly cynical about the chances of really bringing drug kingpins to book in this country. But having said that, I've also witnessed the incredible resilience of people like Tando in prison overseas, alongside Babsi Nobanda, the woman who got caught with cocaine in her dreadlocks, and to look at their fortitude and to witness their optimism and their determination to endure this terrible punishment, a punishment that, I mean, the conditions in Thailand are appalling, but to endure this and to make the most of it and to come out of there with a positive attitude and a determination to contribute to society, that fills me with hope and inspiration, that even if we can't bring these drug lords to book, that perhaps there is some incredibly positive lesson to be learned from this trajectory into a heart of darkness.
Now, Patricia, how many people have you managed to actually bring home from these foreign prisons?
Have I met? I'm in contact with many, but the majority that I have personally met has been in Mauritius, and that is not through going to visit them in the prisons, because they don't allow anybody in to visit a South African unless you are direct family, a mother, father, brother or sister. So these people don't see anybody. But I used to, when I go to Mauritius, I was able to, and there was a court case, I would support that South African during the court case. And because they stand alone, I mean, our embassies, officials aren't even there for them. So they are completely alone. These people are, it is painful. I can't explain to you, to stand with these young girls. And it is, you know, when you talk to them, I'm talking about specifically in Mauritius, for instance, each one of them, the first thing they said to me, it must be an absolutely beautiful island. And then I think to myself, is that what they were coerced with? This island, and of course, by the time when they reach the airport, they're arrested, so they don't see the island, they only see the jail. So it's extremely sad, and I mean, many of the South Africans, not many, should I say, quite a few of them, when they've returned, they've been to visit me. And I've been able to talk with them. And I will say something, I am so proud of many of our South Africans who have returned and have reintegrated back into society. And I am absolutely amazed, because you know what, they come back from countries where there's no rehabilitation, because rehabilitation cannot take place where there's no family involved. And they get up and they lift their heads high and they get on with their lives. And I am actually, I don't have words. I get so excited when our people come back home, and my wish is that this government will wake up and start thinking seriously of entering into a prisoner transfer agreement to bring our people home.
And that's what I was going to say, is what Patricia has been championing all this time, is for South Africa to enter into a prisoner transfer agreement along with most of the world, that will allow South Africans incarcerated overseas to serve a portion of their sentence at home near their loved ones, not to doubly punish them and their families. For genuine victims of human trafficking, that would be an indication that our government has not left them to actually just, has not abandoned them.
Yeah.
For those who have made the mistake or who have willfully smuggled drugs, it signifies a humanitarian gesture, not only to them but to South African families who are suffering such anguish as Patricia has over the years, because their children are locked up in a place where they can't get access. Most families cannot afford to visit their children often, if at all. And again, as Patricia was saying, that because also the necessity of overseeing a proper rehabilitation program for them, to equip them with tools for successful reintegration when they are released. Some kind of oversight mechanism there to make sure that they are treated in accordance with our constitution, that is also very, very specific about the treatment of South Africans incarcerated abroad. And that Patricia has been tirelessly working towards.